Welcome to William Steele True Crime and Steal the Spotlight. Social media, all these platforms. Now we're on Rumble, Instagram, YouTube, and now we have public relations. So Steal the Spotlight PR. And also everything's coming under the umbrella of Steele Media. We have a very, very special guest. You guys got to know him if you're watching any of the newest movies coming out lately. Up and coming actor. Now, this guy here, MagChop Kenny, okay? He's got a certain order he wants to be introduced. I might probably mix it up, but he's an artist, a fashion designer, and an actor.
Boom, right? There it is.
MagChop, sort of like me, but not as bad. He was a very young man in his early teens, probably, maybe younger, was kind of on the wrong path in Chicago, and some people loved him and got him out of that environment and turned his whole life around. And now, tell us a little about yourself. Tell my audience who doesn't know you. Thanks for coming.
What's up, everybody? My name is Kenny. I call myself MagChop Kenny. Well, everyone else kind of gave me that name. My company is MagChop. I'm an artist, fashion designer, and actor. And none of that happened intentionally. I was born in Chicago. I was raised in Chicago. I got in trouble in Chicago and I moved to Florida. Basically, nature I felt was trying to kill me, so I moved back to Chicago. And after being shot at on the way home, I decided I'll take my chances with nature, and I've been in Florida ever since. I worked the blue collar industry for most of my life, and I got in trouble with the law down here. Was facing life in prison, and for some steep charges, which we talked about on the other show.
Yeah.
And basically, after that, my mother passed away. My whole art style changed from drawing to collage art, and I built basically a whole empire around my collage art called MagChop.
MagChop. So I think that's a compilation of chopping up magazines initially, right? And then you
That is it. Yes. So I thought about how I do my art. I chop up magazines, and I was like, I'm going to name the company MagChop. And it's funny because my wife was the only person initially who liked the name. Everybody else was like, those words don't go together. But you know, it ended up sticking, and it works.
Hey, I'm not going to lie to you. We know each other close to 2 years now. And at first I was like, what kind of name is that? You know, but it's grown on me. It's very unique. It's all about you. You're consistent in what you're doing. I think you had an early love of Lowrider. So a lot of your art incorporates Lowriders, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big Lowrider. I'm still into Lowriders. I'm building a 1983 Buick Regal now. Full radical, got suicide doors, hood, trunk. I mean, I'm going all out on it. And so yeah, a lot of my artwork features lowriders, and even the pieces that are not lowrider associated, I usually hide something lowrider inside of it. Like I did a piece for race car champion Ernie Francis Jr., and in one of the engines, I changed the pulley to a Dayton like 13-inch lowrider rim. And it was funny because at one point he said, "What is that?" It's a rim. So like when you look at my pieces, you can look at them and find little things hidden about lowriding in them.
And you know, we love putting inspirational stories on here, and I'll tell my audience again and again, you know, MagChop is one of the most inspirational people I ever met. He's always optimistic. He's always got a friendly conversation, and he's always hustling. This guy here is like a very, very driven guy with a lot of vision. And I'm just glad to call you friend, man. And I want my audience to check out your movies. We're going to get into them in a minute. So this guy's making movies left and right now. He's But back to your art for 1 second. I remember the last time you mentioned something about an ultra famous celebrity that got one of your pieces for his daughter.
Yes, Chris Brown. So I was just thinking about Chris Rock earlier because I saw a thing with him. It had Chris Rock, Mace, and Eve, and it said Christmas Eve. It was a stupid meme I saw. It came to mind, and it was Chris Brown. And it was his team that they wanted to present the gift to him at the beginning of his tour. Mm-hmm. And so I guess they sent a bunch of different people out to say, okay, who's got the best collage art? Because he is actually a collage artist. And they all came back with my name. And so I was able to do a piece for him, and he posted a picture of him sitting on his daughter's bed with the piece in the background.
That was really cool. You get lifestyles of the rich and famous already.
I have a really cool art gallery show going right now. It was from October to December 31st. So if anyone's in Florida for the last week, go over to Art Serve in Fort Lauderdale. There's a full MagChop exhibit there, 23 pieces of my art. There are 26 in the collection, but 2 of them weren't framed and 1 of them was destroyed, sadly. without no photos ever being taken of it. It's the
Are you
horrible.
are you comfortable saying publicly the range of price of your pieces of art? Like I don't know much about the art
Yeah,
world. I
absolutely.
used to steal a lot of art. You know, I was a jeweler art thief.
So let me tell you. Do you know the Picasso thieves?
Oh my God, I know him very, very well. Yes,
Okay, so
he's been on
he
my
is a
show.
he's a huge fan of my art, and he actually drove down to the gallery for my art opening. And
He invited me several times. He said, William, let's go together. I know you know Kenny, MagChop. Let's go. We're going for the show. There was some other artist involved too, I think, at the time.
well, it was all the Art Serve gallery. The Art Serve had a members gallery exhibit going on,
Right.
but starting at the same time was my personal exhibit, and it covered everything from my artwork, my fashion, the movies, the movie posters I've made, the book covers I've made, and all the different magazines and newspapers I've been featured in.
Yep. So let's tell everybody who we're talking about. So Picasso Vega. Picasso was notorious because he was basically a house painter who, when he did ultra exquisite mansions in New York City, Manhattan, and out on Long Island, New York, he would do some, I believe it was rudimentary paintings, copies of things that had to be removed from the wall for painting and wouldn't maybe go up for a few weeks or a few months. And he would take those home, steal them. And he said it was for his personal enjoyment. And so he was featured on a reality show. They did a sting operation. They busted him as being the Picasso of thieves because
because he was recreating the art.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing. He was. There's people to this day that think they have an original. They got his artwork in their house and they don't even know it. So he wasn't even busted for all of them. But he saw my art up close and he said that he had never seen anything like it, and he said that that he can't duplicate it, and that's what made him love about it. He said he can't duplicate my art. But he actually drove all the way down here from New York, wherever he lives at now, the New England area, to come to the show. He drove down here, came to the show, and drove back home. So it was really inspiring to see that, my art.
He stayed with you because he invited me several times, and he knew that I knew you, and he's like, man, you got to come. Cool. And I had so many other things going on up here. I'm from New York City, but I'm in the Midwest now filming, and for many reasons, I wasn't able to make it during that period. So,
I think you were filming. We talked. You were filming. Yeah. It's cool. It's been a trip, but but it's been cool to have my art in that way. It's got my whole mug collection, everything there, and that's what got me. The artwork is what started everything. It started me getting into fashion. I took my artwork, put it on leggings. I put it on swimwear, activewear, both men's and women's wear. And I did Miami Swim Week. I did Palm Beach Swim Week, Chicago, Orlando. I'm invited to New York Fashion Week. So I did all that. And then the goal with my artwork was to put it in movies. So that's how I got into movies. I started trying to present my artwork in the movie, and they're like, hey, I got a role for you.
Right. So we've talked about Juan Vasquez a little earlier.
Yes.
So him and your relationship with him and Robert Lasardo and some of these A-listers and guys making movies, they're rocking and rolling.
Yeah. So here's the wild thing about that. When I met Juan, there was Ciro had just announced that he was going to be working on a project called Mob King.
Right.
And this was like way back in like 2016. Juan had just won the New York Film Festival for Track Plane, which is on Amazon Prime. It's a series. And so he won the award for that. And I guess him and Ciro met or something, and Ciro was like, hey, I'm going to be announcing this new film that I'm doing. Why don't you come down and we'll promote your film as well. So Juan came down here, they were promoting, and I met him because I went to that event. And I actually met a woman named Sharon Matthews. She's the one who introduced me to him. She was actually the original promoter for the Mob King. Right. And so I met Juan. He's from Chicago, but he lived in Milwaukee, and real cool guy. And so, I told him, I said, hey man, next time you're down, in Florida, hit me up, and he's like, yeah, no problem. So he came back like a couple weeks later for something. And I met him and Sharon at JB's on the beach in Deerfield. And so we hung out, and I was like, man, this guy's a real cool guy. Right. And I was thinking about getting my fashion into his movie. So I was like, let's talk, next time you're down, let's talk a little bit more. Well, Sharon calls me and she's like, hey, Juan's coming back and At the time, my brother had a nightclub in Fort Lauderdale. So she was like, yeah, he's going to be coming back. I want to give him, to have him take him out for a good time. Him and the guys. It was like Jokes Yanez, George Jokes Yanez, which is he's a producer. He was one of the original producers, I think, on Mob King. I don't know if he stayed with
he's on a lot of Ciro stuff. They work together.
Yeah, him. So he was him, this guy Trey D, and Juan. So I told her, I said, instead of going to a nightclub, come to my fashion show. So I did Palm Beach Swim Week. I gave them front row tickets for my fashion show.
Okay.
So that's how I got to know Juan. And then at the after party was at this big club in Clematis, like downtown West Palm. Mm-hmm. And everybody from the show came to my after party. Every model, the owner, everybody was there. I got to know Juan a little bit more, and then he went back to Houston. So we kept in touch, and like I went to California, he had me picked up at the airport and brought to Sacramento from like the guy who was taking care of me. He was like real cool guy.
Yeah.
And so I did this movie called Crossing the Line, mm-hmm. but I never talked about it because it's a really wild story how I got that role. Right. But it ended up on Amazon Prime. And I didn't even know. I didn't know where the movie was going. I just did the movie. I got paid for it. I got flown out to California for it. And then one day, I get a call when I was shooting the movie Negativity from the director, and he's like, "Hey, I'm so excited." And I'm like, "What's going on?" He's like, "I got an actor that's on Amazon Prime whose face is on Amazon Prime." And I'm like, "No way, who'd you get?" And he's like, "What you mean, who'd I get?" And I'm like, "Who'd you get, bro? You leaving me hanging?" And he's like, "You." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Go on Amazon Prime." Bro, I go on Amazon Prime, and there's my face right next to Joker. If you go on my Instagram, you can see it because it's pinned to the top. I'm like looking like
it's a little surreal, isn't it?
It really is. And I was like, "Oh, that's me." Like my face was right next to Joker. And it was wild. So then so I called Juan and I go, "Bro, you're not gonna believe this." And I was like, "I did this movie called Crossing the Line, and it's on Amazon Prime. My face is on the cover of the movie." And he's like, "You're an actor?" And I'm like, "No, but I did this movie." And he goes, "Bro, I've been thinking about asking you to do a role. There's a role that I feel like you'd be the guy for." And I was like, "Yeah, what is it?" He's like, "You'd be a detective." So that's how I got the role for the squad.
The squad.
The Chicano squad was through that. That's how it happened.
Tell us each one of the movies you have out right now, where my audience can find them. Do you know offhand?
All right. So if you go on YouTube and you look up Crossing the Line Movie 2020, you find that I'm in that movie. I'm actually the star of that movie. And then, which I don't know, I look like I'm the co-star, but the guy kept calling me the star. And then and then if you go on Amazon Prime, you can find Negativity. And in Negativity, I play the gangster older brother of the main character's girlfriend.
Okay.
So it's a really, really relatable movie about the pandemic and what was going on during the pandemic. It's a really emotional movie. It takes you on a bit of a, like, you're gonna be like excited, laughing. You're gonna be like worried. You're gonna be like sad, and then you're gonna be like, oh, like it's a really trippy movie. And it's relatable because it was filmed during the pandemic. Okay. So this entire movie was filmed on our phones, and then we submitted. There's only a few times people are actually together in the movie, and that's the only time they were. All the other people sent in their stuff on phones, and then he edited it to look like. And I'm telling you, there's a conversation with me and my sister in the movie. We never talked, and it looks like we're talking.
The magic of skillful editing. Let's give the editor a shout out. Who did the editing for you for the movie?
The director and editor was John Vargas. So, and I'm working on. Yeah, shout out to John Vargas.
I always need help with editing. Let me tell you something. We're putting together a drama series and a feature film about my life, right? A pilot.
Yeah.
And we're still in the very, very early formative stages, cast, crew, all that. And we have a skeleton of a script, but I'm on the same road. You know, I just got out of prison myself. Like, you know, what is it? Just about a little over a year and a half now. Yeah. So, you know, I'm trying to find a way to include people that mean something to me and who've been inspirational to me since I got out. And I was thinking about you. I told my girl, I said, you know, I like that MagChop. I could fit him in somewhere because back in the day, we were running. No, I'm not trying to stereotype you, my friend, but we used to run a lot of dope, man. Kilos of cocaine and guns and stuff. And And so you could be one of like traffickers or hitmen or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely fit that role. Listen, you know what's funny is a lot of people think that like that I would get like typecast, and I know how I look, so I know I could play that role. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like I have that look, right? But I haven't been, so it doesn't bother me at all. When the first time I was ever on a set, I only went because I had wanted to be on a set and see what it was like. They were missing one of the gangster guys, and the guy comes up to me, he's like, "Hey man, I don't mean to be offensive, but you kind of look gangster, bro. Can you be in the film?"
It's like Bruce Sosha, right? You know Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce
is a great guy. You know, he came to the screening of the Squad.
Bruce is phenomenal, man. He's become a good friend. He's been on my show one time. I was able to, it's such inspirational stuff because he's like me.
That guy's a genuine tough guy too, man.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like a gigantic, scary biker, but he's like this heart of gold type dude.
Man, heart of gold, man.
Scripture and encouragement on his pages and everything. And I'm like, oh, are you going to this event or that event? He goes, nope. Left that stuff behind me a long time ago. I'm moving on to the next
do a lot of events. Man, I was so happy. He showed up at my screening of the Squad. He came in, and then right when it was over, he left. He waited outside until I walked out. I said bye, and that was it. Great guy, man. I love him to death.
Because, I am a Christian. I'm not perfect, but the Bible says avoid even the appearance of evil. So we know how these after parties can get,
Yes. You know what? I'm thank God I don't have none of those problems. I don't worry about that. I'm married and I'm not one of those guys that's out there on my wife, so I got nothing to worry about. I don't live with a guilty conscience.
The little guy, he got in the yay. What was his name? Get the yay.
Chichi, Angel Salazar. So in Northside, I think he's gonna be in Northside. We shot some scenes, but I don't know, there's some contract issues or something going on, but he was playing my father in Northside, which is a movie, another Juan Vasquez film. But I put their names together. John Vargas, Juan Vasquez. Another Juan Vasquez film that I'm shooting is called Northside, and I play the son who's taking over the cartel.
Right. So Angel Salazar, for you, anybody who doesn't know, was in an iconic movie called Scarface with Al Pacino. He's the one in the shootout that was the Colony Hotel on South Beach, and the shootout with the Colombians, and Pacino says to him, Cheech, get the yay.
Get the yayo. And then he also, when they shot Frank in the dealership, and they told the guy, what was his name? Hector, whatever his name was.
He was scared. He was shaking. And he
goes, hey, you got a job.
You got a job. Iconic lines, man. And I know he's doing stand-up comedy all over. I see him everywhere. So shout out to Angel.
I saw him years ago on a comedy stand-up thing, man. He's hilarious, and I hung around with him while we were shooting. Man, the guy's a really great guy. He's really hilarious, and he really is about that yayo life, boy.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, and so we don't support that here on this station. And the opinions of our guests and myself are just our own. So who else is really funny? And he's down there with you, Mike Marino. You know him?
Yes. Marino for president. He's great, man. That guy is
I'm running in 2028. I already announced it a few months ago.
Oh, okay. Well, he's going for 2024, so you know.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to go against Trump. I'm not crazy.
Well, Marino, I think he has a chance, man. He's got my vote. Yeah, he's a great guy. I had him on the radio show on Six Borough when I was a host with the Six Borough radio show, and just a funny guy. He's really genuine guy.
I know a lot of people that know him, and I've interviewed most of his circle. And they always say, get him on, and we just never connected. And all of a sudden, I went to New York 2 weeks ago for the premiere / screening of Silent Partners, Ciro DiPaggio, and his partner, the guy that plays Meyer Lansky. So I go there, it's red carpet. I run into like all these mafia genre actors. Some of them I know, some of them I don't know. Like really huge guys in the mob genre were there.
I saw some of the pictures from the event, man. I was like, wow, that's impressive.
I'm on the red carpet interviewing these people for these shows. Plus, when the event was over, I'm doing footage in Manhattan and Brooklyn for my own shows and some B-roll and everything. And so I run into you know who Joseph D'Onofrio is, right?
The name's familiar, but I probably
he's like. On a Bronx tale. They want to shoot somebody. He was one of the little bad guys on the Bronx tale. He was Henry's friend selling cigarettes on Goodfellas. So I'm on the red carpet with him, and he's from, basically from Brooklyn, where I'm from. So we really hit it off. And man, we were cutting up. I was dying laughing. He was dying laughing. And I said, okay, thanks for the interview. Stay tuned. I'm trying to put together mine. I'm on you guys' coattail with these movies and pilots. I only got out of prison recently. You guys have got a few years ahead of me, but I'm catching up to you. I don't take no for an answer. So I'm going to find a way to do this, right? I'm learning, and I got you guys always. I'm always hitting you up with questions, right? So I said, thanks for joining. And he goes, like, it dawned on him that I have something going on too, come in the future. So he said, and I'm playing him. He said, let me play you. And I said, you want to play me? I said, like, you don't even know me. So I leaned in. I says, what do I do? And he goes, you do everything. He's so funny, man. And so we exchanged numbers and he become a friend. So shout out.
Have you ever talked to the guy from Gravesend, William DeMail?
I have people trying to see what they can do about that because I grew up in Gravesend. My first series of books in prison were going to be called the Gravesend series about the neighborhood.
No way. That's funny.
Once I got out and I saw this guy's already doing Gravesend show, I was like, oh man, I don't want to mistake the two projects. But I have several.
What I'll do is I'll shoot him a text with your number and who you are. I talk to him all the time. Like I'll talk to him and say, hey, he's a really great guy. I had him on my show. Really, really.
My show in this first season, we're up to 11.2 million views on TikTok. In first season 1, I have tens of millions of fans. Season 2 is about to air. Maybe very little or none of it. We don't know. Here's what they wanted me to do. You saw what I went through living with the Seventh-day Adventist couple, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I kept my New York sense of humor. They were very strict on me. She had a crush on me. It was a lot of weirdness going on, right? Everybody who was concerned about me in that situation, I would tell them, you understand the type of cellmates I've had over the years. These people are nothing.
Yeah, right. I mean, listen, when you've had a cellmate,
right? Yeah. So
I had a guy I used to do business with, and he said one day, he goes, if I got to use the bathroom, I got to either go home, or if I'm out somewhere, I got to go back to my hotel, right? And I go, hey, listen. When you've been locked up, you're doing it in front of people, forget about it. You go anywhere.
Yeah, it's an awkward thing. So, and then there's people, sometimes that might really be, really screwed up people. And, God help you if you can try to get a cell change. Half the time you can't get one or it takes months. So I was telling everybody who has concerns about the pressure these people were putting on me, I literally would always say, do you understand? I'm laughing at them. Yeah. I have a comfortable bed in a nice house and I'm getting on my feet. And I basically ignore them. And then the stuff that they had done to me came out on the show. And then the whole world hated them and picked at them. And I used to put to my fans, hey, don't bully them. I actually feel bad for them because they're not functioning at a normal level because they're in a whole different religious thing where like no TV. That. Yeah.
It was in Utah, right?
It was in Elkhart, Indiana. Elkhart. So I'm about 2 hours away from there now. And
those people belong in Utah.
No comment because part of my contract says I'm not allowed to disparage other cast members. You know what? Here's the thing. I figured out. I never watched reality TV in my life until I got my own show. Now I watch it a little bit to learn the nuances and what it's really all about. You know how they have the reunions? Everybody sits on the couch. So that's coming up for me too, right? They're gonna have to fly me to New York, to California. Yeah. So it's in our contract. We're gonna have to. So they don't want us talking negativity about each other. The whole world played it out. They always advise you that. They say, look, the world saw how they treated you and how you responded appropriately at all times and with humor. You don't need to join the conversation saying anything bad about them, and it's in your contract. Because that stuff will come out again when we do the reunion show. then it goes off.
I was going to say, has any of them ever reached out to you since any of that or no?
Yeah, the lady who was holding my meat next door, remember her? I couldn't have any meat in the refrigerator, right?
Yeah, you had the story. You had the small fridge at first. They made you get rid of that or whatever it was.
No, the pastor wanted to give me a small fridge. They said no, they were going to pray about it. Never got back to me. Their fridge was off limits. I can't say who, but somebody buying me like $100 worth of meat I haven't had in 18 years in prison. And I wake up in the morning, it's all gone. And I'm like calling them, texting them, Mark, Shauna, where's the meat? Where's the meat? You know, I was going to move it to the neighbor's house in the morning. Oh, I got two different stories. One said, oh, it was leaking everywhere. I threw it out. The other one said, it's sinful in this house, and you were told not to have it here. It's in the outside trash, and if you want it, get it out of there. I said, how about you kiss my ass? I'm not going in the trash to eat some freaking meat.
Right.
That
No.
Right.
Wow.
It's in the outside trash, and if you want, I was. Do you remember? Do you remember her telling me when I said, "Hey, I got out of shape in prison, and I had broke my ankle, so I gained a lot of weight. I'm trying to just do like protein and try to be a little healthier, but I wasn't sticking to it because when you get out, there's two things you want a lot of. We're not going to go into the other one on here, but so the food, like everything I see, I want to eat, right? So no matter what I try to do to this day, I'm having trouble losing this weight. So when I said, look, we were locked down for a year for COVID before I got out. I got some muscle atrophy. She said on the show, she says this, so I'm not saying anything everybody hasn't heard. She says, we bought you eggs. We bought you cottage cheese. I said, cottage cheese? Are you freaking kidding me? I don't eat cottage cheese.
Man.
They had protein powder. They told me, if you want protein, have that. I gave it a try. It was yellow. I looked at the date. It was like 3 years ago expired on their counter. I'm like, you eat that 3-year-old yellow protein powder.
Wow. That's something else.
I pray for them. They claim they pray for me, but I told her, I said, I can't be a Seventh-day Adventist. I said, I grew up Catholic. I say I'm a Christian now, born again Christian, whatever, And so I just try to be non-denominational at this point, man. I don't like getting caught up into doctrinal.
Right.
Everybody's relationship with God is very personal, and
let it be.
I'd rather not stockpile my basement with food for the next 4 years and worth of food, thinking the end times is coming tomorrow. So.
Yeah, I hear that. But you know what? It's good to see where you're at now. You're out of that situation, and you're a lot more free.
Thank you. Hey, what do you got coming up as far as movies, projects, artwork? Now, you and I have another mutual friend that I actually this time introduced you to. I met a guy in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He's got a company called Lux Art. He does wraps for high-end vehicles, ultra beautiful. He does the ceramic coatings. He conditions the interiors of the cars. Now, I have a gorgeous older caddy. It's gorgeous black caddy. I'm in the Midwest. There's not a lot of people driving Cadillacs, so they think I'm a mob boss or something out here. And I'm like, no, I just like caddies, and I'm from New York, and that's what we drive, right? So his place, man, his place, Jake Medina. So shout out to Jake. His place.
There it is. We're back.
All right. How come his picture is much smaller than it was? Am I on the wrong screen? Okay, there it is. There it is. I'll get the hang of it. All right. So for our audience, we had a quick glitch, but we're back, and we were talking about we need to know what the heck MagChop Kenny has going on next. What do you want to talk about?
All kinds of good stuff. So I know that the squad, Rise of the Chicano Squad, will be coming out next year streaming on certain platforms. I'm not sure which ones yet. I kind of have an idea, but I'm not allowed to say. So definitely look for Squad, Rise of the Chicano Squad. I'm filming with John Vargas, a film called Side Effects, which is a film about a drug that was put on the streets that has some type of zombie side effect to it, violent zombie side effect to it. So it's an interesting movie. I'm not a zombie movie fan, but I'm really excited to be a part of this one.
Right.
And and then I have North Side with Juan Vasquez that we're going to be shooting next year. I play the upcoming boss of the cartel, taking over, the succession of my dad's cartel, and then I have another film that I just worked on called Rise of the Hustler, that is based off of a book called I Made It Then I Didn't. So these are all the projects that I got going on. If you want to see my movie now on Amazon Prime, look up Negativity on Amazon Prime. You definitely could find it there. And make sure you go on Instagram and follow MagChop, MagChop. And hopefully I got a new line coming out. So I'm working on my new line for fashion. I'd like to get back into the shows and get my stuff back out there. So that's the plans for MagChop right now.
We're going to have links to all your projects and all your interesting things in the description. So make sure I have current links and images. So this show will be going up with all that. And next time I'm down in Florida, of course, I want to try to plan it around some event you have, maybe another movie premiere or something.
Yeah. Now you're in Indiana, right?
Yeah, we're still filming here.
Midwest area, the Midwest area, Illinois, Indiana.
And, yep.
So what I'm actually doing some really cool business with Jake. So I'm gonna be coming up there to see him. So
Okay.
and I got a tattoo artist up there that I'm gonna visit while I'm there. So hopefully I can see you guys. We can all hang out.
I think one of his buddies is a very prominent tattoo artist. That's who you're talking about? I forget the guy's name.
I don't know. This guy's been a friend of mine for over 20 years. So he moved up there, and I told him I'd come up and
Is he local here? Give him a shout out. I don't care. Give him a shout. Give his
business. Yeah, shout out to Instinct, Andre from Instinct. It's INK Stink, like instinct, but Instinct. He's up there in Indiana. The guy's an amazing. If you like lowrider art or just really cool art, 3D art in general, he does really cool work. So definitely check him out.
All right, I will. I live around here now too. Maybe he'll come on as a sponsor or underwriter of these shows.
You never know. I got a lot of people to get you in touch with
on here now, so that's really good.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get you in touch with everybody on my end so I can help you, get the people that are hard to reach.
I'll do the same for you. Let me ask you this. Now, the radio station, we didn't get a lot of detail, and I don't know how much you want to say on the air. What is going on with your radio show? What you're allowed
to say? I have no qualms in talking about it. Well, with the Sixth Borough, the female host, Denise, was the owner of the show, and she actually got an opportunity that was really lucrative that she just couldn't pass up. And so without her on the show, it was hard to keep the same sponsors. So she said she would bring the show back, but ultimately, I guess, it didn't work out that way. And so after a year and a half of doing the show, we were gaining some traction, but we're not on the show anymore.
Denise was her name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Shout out.
Another love for Denise, Yeah, shout out to Denise. She's doing really well. It's really good to see her doing well. She's a hardworking woman.
Does she have another show, TV, radio? What's she doing?
Not yet. She was working with some pickleball news or something like that, but I didn't follow it. I'm not.
Let me tell you something. That's the fastest growing sport in the United States right now.
It is so weird. I'm just not into it.
I met a retired doctor here who's really into it, and he built pickleball courts all over this town. He's 90. I think he's like 94.
Yeah, it's like tennis, but with a wiffle ball and ping pong paddles, oversized ping pong paddles and a wiffle ball.
The ball is thicker wall than the ping pong ball, so it moves a little quicker.
Right, so it's like a wiffle ball, isn't it? Yeah, it looks like a wiffle ball.
Similar to, I have one around here somewhere.
You got one in your pocket?
No, he gave me one, but so he played, and like here I am, in my 50s, let's just say, and he's like 90 something, and he kicked my ass. but he's been playing it for however long it's been around, and he's a big proponent of health and getting healthy. And Dr. Rudy Katchman, so I'll give him a shout out. He's so prominent here that his name is on the local PBS building. It says Dr. Rudy and Rhonda Cashman building. He put up all the money to build the PBS studios. So his name's on tennis courts for one of the universities around here, Rudy Cashman tennis courts. He builds courts. I spoke to the pastor of my church, and he's willing to actually put 1 or 2 pickleball courts over at the church because it's growing so much. It would be a good environment for people from the neighborhood to play and get to know each other.
Yeah,
get familiar with the church. But so we're trying to see if we can't get that moving along and help the church out.
That's pretty cool. Definitely.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, maybe you can get him on the shuffleboard court. You know what I mean? Maybe you can get a victory there from him.
Yeah. All right, MagChop, is there anything else you want to say or promote or let us know what's going on? Keep us surprised. Everybody, go to the links, check out his stuff. His artwork's phenomenal. I think I was asking earlier about price range of your work. I don't know if you discussed that.
Yeah. So the price range is interesting because you can get a really nice mug for about $25. It comes with a really nice box. It's a 15-ounce mug. They are collector's items. There's 7 in the collection, and at the end of every year, one mug is discontinued and a new one. The new design takes its place and makes
limited designs, limited editions.
Yes, they are limited editions, and I did that because I wanted people to collect them. I want people to know that there's different art. You're gonna always see something new. And amazingly, as much as my art is very full, it translates really, really well on the onto the mug. It's a 15-ounce beer mug, but you can use it.
I've got one. I remember when you and I hung out in Boca Raton. You gave me one with your autograph on it, so I have it around here. I have it all packaged up and put away. I don't use it. It's art.
Nice. And I, now I do this.
I have a display. It's going to be on it, but for now, I have it put up and packaged.
Yeah, pretty soon you have it in the background.
Let me see. Let me show my audience one of your mugs or one of your pieces. Hold something up for the camera.
All right. So this piece here is called Awake, and this is a 15-ounce mug.
Oh, that's
it's
cool.
Very bright, very brightly colored. I don't know if I can get this whole piece in here. Let's see how much we can get of it. There we go.
Push it closer. Push it a little closer. There you go. And then go slow from one end to the other. Wow. What does something like that run if somebody said, hey, I want to get that?
So this is a museum paper giclée, and this price range for this one is, I believe, $1,200. And so the artwork when you get a museum paper giclée, or if you're getting a giclée on canvas, they range anywhere from $1,200 up to $5,000, depending on how much the original sold for or is going for. Some of the originals, one of my originals is an Ernie Francis Jr. original. He's legendary right now already at his young age in racing, and that piece is for $500,000. Iron Freedom's original, which is framed with motorcycle handlebars and everything, a piece like that will run you $30,000.
Very nice. If you want some art, it's beautiful. It's been in movies. MagChop's making movies, making moves. Just check it out.
Yeah.
We'll put a link to his website and everything in the description. I want to thank you again for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Vasquez and Will DeMeo. I said, what's up? Hello. And
I definitely will. Juan just called me, so I'm going to call him and tell him about the show and talk to him, and I'll give him your number, so I'm sure you'll hear from him.
I appreciate it, man. They're welcome to come on here. I know those guys are doing positive things. If it's positive and inspirational, a lot of times guys, especially, with my background, you're misunderstood. You're never good enough. No matter what you do, you can't prove yourself. You're this, that, and the other thing. So all I'm going to do is try to keep my eyes focused and continue doing all the right things. So
that's the best thing to do. That's what I tell people all the time. Is like, look, you're going to make mistakes along the way. Thing is, don't make the same mistakes. Make all new ones. No, but keep focused on the positive things and stay focused on your goals and on your dreams and on God, and that's what's going to guide you through life.
Yep, there you go. That's the number one thing in my life is my faith. I'm not perfect, but I'm not the person I was before. And so
you're not perfect, you're forgiven, right?
I love using my platform to help tell inspirational stories because I put so much behind me, and my bad life, my crimes are like 20 years behind me now. So I'm not even that person anymore. I lost my mother when I was incarcerated. I had a change of heart. I took a lot of college and university courses, and I just came out wanting to do something different and realized, how much I lost. None of it was worth it. So now I try to help people today. We try to work with, with seniors, and we try to work with crime victims. We do a lot of crime prevention shows. My co-host is Ignacio Esteban. He's retired from ATF. He wrote 77 books. I have a lot of former law enforcement on here, and even though I was locked up, I have respect for law enforcement. There's good and bad in every career. We all know Absolutely. That. You went through some crap, but it is what it is. And so I like telling inspirational stories, especially if it's a turnaround story. So Kenny, thank you again for coming on. And
thanks for having me, man.
Thank you everybody for watching us. We appreciate your interest in what we're doing here. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.